Heaven Hill, grain to glass, weeded. It's time for 2 Minute Tuesday. As always, we start with color. You can see really rich, binging on mahogany, little red notes in there. Beautiful, beautiful color on this. Now, at 121 proof, and most of these are in between, I think it's like 6 and 7 years of age. If I remember correct, some of them might be a little bit 8, but I think the majority of the blends are all 6 years. I don't know how well you see that, but it's really hanging onto the rim. You got some decent legs coming through. Nice and oily. Let's get into the nose. The thing that stands out to me right away is there is a bit of wheat funk, which is something that I really like in certain wheaters, but it is very tamed down. It's a nice kind of sweet note in there, very kind of caramely. Not a lot of fruit though. Some wheaters can be very fruity, and I love that. I'm not getting a lot of fruit on the particular grain de glace here. It's really dominated by like the wheat funk on that kind of caramel note. There's a touch of a little bit of spice in there, some barrel char kind of thing going on, but really it's mostly that wheat funk and caramel. Let's get it on the palate and see how that translates. Ooh. So on the palate, you definitely feel that 121 proof. It lights you up a little bit, gives you a nice Kentucky hug. While I smelled mostly kind of funk and a little bit caramel before, caramel's there. There's a little bit of cherry in there, which I appreciate, and a lot of spice, a surprising amount of spice, and not as much wheat funk as I would have expected on the actual palate itself. I smell it on the nose, but it's not coming through very much to the palate. It's really, really subtle. It's a very like undertone kind of thing. The predominant note is that spice and that caramel and that little hint of cherry. The more I sip it, I'm getting a little bit of like kind of a pie crusty thing in there too. That's also very subtle, much like the wheat funk, but it has this kind of like, not truly bready, but like I said, pie crusty, a little more rich with that caramel and cherry, kind of like a spicy cherry pie with some caramel drizzle on it. I know, sounds weird, but that's what I'm getting out of this. It does have a pretty nice mouthfeel and feels pretty oily and is coating pretty well, which is really, really nice. But the back end is kind of all hot as opposed to spice. Like you're feeling the ethanol on the tail end and not getting much flavor out of it. You're just getting kind of a heat. Overall score for the Heaven Hill Grain to Glass Weeded. I'm going to give this a 67.